Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi Shrali Sadri, wa Yassirli Amri, wa Hlul 'Uqdatam min Lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi zidni ilma. Now, children, how is everyone? Okay, hope that you all are well, enjoying your learning, preparing for the exams, isn't it? Okay. Are you watching all the videos regarding the paper, the past papers, the practice past papers that we have done? Yes, all the papers for from May, June 2023 till October, November 2023. So you can go through those papers and you can see that, and even the February, March papers are also uploaded. So please go through them. And if you have any query, then please do comments that we can discuss the paper with you then, okay? But today we are going to attempt one more paper, that is paper one, computer science, that is paper one, computer systems. It is 0478 paper 1-2, May, June 2023. The paper is of 1 hour 45 minutes. You have to answer on the question paper. No additional material is needed. And you have to answer all the questions. I hope that you remember all the instruction that you have to attempt all the questions. You have to use a dark blue or a black pen. You may use a G pencil for any diagrams. You have to write your name, candidate number, and the center number in the boxes at the top of the page. Write your answer to each question in the given space. Do not use an erasable pen or correction fluid at all. Do not write on any barcodes. Calculators must not be used in this paper. Remember, we are not allowed to use a calculator at all. Paper is of 75 marks, and the number of marks are given for each part or each question in the brackets. No marks will be awarded for using brand names. So please refrain from writing the name of the software packages or the hardware. Fine. Now, question number 1. Are we ready? Okay, see, such a simple question. Output devices are used to output data from a computer. This is what we know. Circle three devices that are output devices. Now here there is a long list of different, there's a list of different devices, and you have to circle any three. So I have done it for you right now. See, actuator is an output device. Perfect. Then printer is an output device, and speaker is an output device. By the way, just let's do a little bit of the revision. What about DVD? Which kind of device is it? That's great, Ali. It's a storage. It's meant for storage. What about keyboard? Definitely, it's an input device. Microphone. It's an input device. That's great. Mouse. That's also an input device. Perfect. Scanner. That is also an input device. Perfect. Sensors. Yes, sensor, input or some other device. Or output. Definitely not output. It's an input device. SSD. That's storage. Perfect. By the way, just asking, two storage devices are mentioned here, DVD and SSD. Can you recall the other output devices also, apart from these? Okay, that's wonderful, Ahmed. HDD and CDs, good, and Blu-ray disc, great. And what about USB flash memory? Yes, that is also storage. And what about RAM and ROM? They are also storage. That's great. So in this manner, within hardly a minute, you can score 3 marks. Question number 2. Binary numbers can be converted to hexadecimal. Convert the two binary numbers to hexadecimal, and you are given the working space also. So first question is this one. It says 11001001. Remember that we make a group starting from this side. So this is the first group as is made here because of the working space utilization. And second group is 1001. Now, for your convenience, here I have written 1248 so that you will remember. I mean, if you don't write still, that's perfectly okay. But I suggest you that you do it this way. And you can see this is basically the value for 3. And this is the value for 8 plus 1, 9. In this manner, this will be 9, 3. So you can simply write down 9, 3 and you will be able to score. Second question is, the first nibble is this one, 1011, and second nibble is 0000. That's very simple. So we have made the working, and we can see 1101 means 8 plus 4 is 12, 12 plus 1 is 13, and 13 is the binary for, so 13 is stands for D in hexadecimal, and then this is 0, all zeros mean 0. So this is why the answer will be 0D. Please do not forget to mention 0 there, okay? Is it clear? Okay. A value is stored as a binary number in a register. You can see a value is stored as a binary number in a register. This is the value. A logical shift of 3 places is performed on the binary number. Now remember, with this shifting, what happens? Just be clear. What is happening here? You can see. Now this is saying 3 places, and it's performing the right shift. So you need to see the shifting position, and you need to see the positions. How many positions? Now what is happening? It means that these 3 bits will be moving out of the right because it's performing right shift. It means this one comes here, this one comes here, this one comes here, this one comes here, this 0 comes here, and the rest of the 3 places are going to be zeros. Remember, it's not going to be replacing this value at all. It will be zeros, which will be inserted here, which are like the empty spaces will be filled in with zeros. Remember, this is what we have learned also. So this is your final answer. Any issues? They've simply asked me to perform right shift, which I did. And I think it's not a problem at all. Any questions that you have? Any questions? No? If we move ahead? Okay, that's great. Now this binary shifting is done. Now let's move on to the next part of the question. State one effect this logical shift has on the binary number. Now see, you can see there are 3 positions, 3 places to the right. Means, by the way, it's going to be division or multiplication. Yes, it's division, and with one place, division by 2. Two places, division by 4. 3 places, division by 8. Exactly. So you can write down the value is divided by 8, or you can see the value becomes incorrect. Like definitely this is what I had pinpointed, that here in this case, the value of 1 is also lost. And that is why that will not give you the correct answer. That will not be the accurate division by 8 answer, fine? So a student can write any of the answers, then and that will be considered as a correct option. Any issues? Okay. Give 2 reasons why a programmer may use hexadecimal to represent binary numbers. So there are 2 reasons that you need to mention for using hexadecimal rather than like to represent the binary numbers. So simple. Why do we use it? It's easier or quicker to understand, or you can say it's easier or quicker to read and write. You can say easier or quicker to debug, less likely to make a mistake. Like you can see for yourself, if I was typing in the binary values, or if I were writing down the binary values, I may make a mistake of swapping the values, or I may make a transposition error. But on the contrary, writing down the same value, its equivalent hex value, may not, like I'll be doing it more with more accuracy. That's why there's less likeliness, there's less likelihood that you are going to make a mistake when entering the hex value. That's why it is a valid answer also. Or it's a shorter representation which takes up less space on the screen. So these are the valid options, the valid answers. So you can write down any of them and you will be able to score. Any questions? Okay. Denary numbers can also be converted to hexadecimal. That's what we know, we have learned. Convert the denary number to hexadecimal, and you can see it's so simple. I mean, I've taken option the way we have learned it in the class, that we have divided 301 by 8 by 16, and you can see 16, 1s are 16, and remainder is 14. So that 14 is written here, that makes it 141. Then 16, 8s is 128, and and the remainder is 13. And here I've written D also so that I'm not making a mistake of writing down 1, 3 instead of D. So I've written it here just to make my answer accurate in the first way. Fine. Any issues? 16 ones is 16 and 14 is the remainder written here. That makes it 141. And the 16 eights is 128 and remainder is 13. And this is my answer for this one. Then 16 ones is 16, remainder is 2. 16 zeros is 0, remainder is 1. Any issues? And your answer will be 1, 2, D. You can see it has to be written in this manner. You can see 1, 2, D. If a student has written the answer in the incorrect order, you can see this is why I've mentioned it here so you can understand how you are going to be awarded marks. 1 mark is for 2 correct characters, and second mark is going to be 2 marks for three correct characters in the correct order. So yeah, this is very important. If you really want to score 2 out of 2, then you need to pay attention that your order should also be correct. Okay? Any issues? Easy till now? Okay, that's great. Question number 3. When keys are pressed on a keyboard, the text is converted to binary to be processed by the computer. Describe how the text is converted to binary to be processed by the computer. Now see, we are just pressing the keys on the keyboard. We don't know what is happening, but we have studied a little bit of it. So I guess that we are able to answer. And you can see a character set is being used, and which character set we have studied. Can you recall? ASCII and Unicode exactly. And each character, each ASCII character or each Unicode character has a unique binary value. So this is how once you are using a keyboard, you are pressing the keys from the keyboard. So this is how the computer is going to process that value into its own equivalent binary. I mean, we don't do it exactly. We don't do it. It's done by the computer for us. We just do the action of using the keyboard, isn't it? Okay, by the way, just asking, can you recall quickly difference between ASCII code and Unicode? It just says ASCII code. Okay, that's great, wonderful. ASCII code is 7 bits. And what about Unicode? Each character in ASCII code is stored in 7 bits, and extended ASCII storing the same character in 8 bits. And what about Unicode? It's storing in 4 bytes. That's great, wonderful, Ali. And this is what a question can come in your paper regarding the difference between ASCII code and Unicode also. So this is how you can answer also. Fine. It's a 3-mark question. So you can answer just by writing down the right, can say the right usage, and you will be able to score it. Text that is input into a computer can be stored in a text file. A text file can be compressed using lossless compression. State what effect this has on the file size. Now you can see what is the result. What is the result of compression exactly? Yes, exactly. That you remember that the result is reducing the size of the file. So this is what is the effect on the file size. So simply write down it reduces the file size, and that's perfectly okay. And please be cautious. You need to mention the word file size. Okay, it reduces the size of the file, or you can say it reduces the file size. That's perfectly okay. Now describe how lossless compression compresses the text file. By the way, can we quickly recall how the compression is going to be performed, especially the lossless compression? Okay, can we quickly recall? It's a 4-mark question. Okay, we'll talk about the algorithm that is used for lossless. Can you recall? Already good, great. By the way, how really works? Can we quickly recall? It works by eliminating, or you can say replacing the adjacent identical data. Yes, that's right. It is working on adjacent identical data. And those identical items are replaced by the number of occurrences and an ASCII value. Fine, that's great. Okay, now that's perfectly okay. Now let's see how can you score 4 out of 4. First thing is you have to talk about the compression algorithm is being used, like maybe RLE. And RLE, let me tell you, run length encoding is one of the algorithms. There are others also. But we have to restrict ourselves to just one thing. Like then you need to know all the details of the other algorithms. So that is why I'm keeping myself just to this RLE only. Repeating words or characters or phrases are identified. This is what we said. Or patterns are also identified, and they are indexed with number of occurrences and their position. So this is what you can see, that how many times that character is appearing. So that is going to be counted. And then the ASCII value for that character, or maybe if it's working on your other thing, then that will be applied. And the number of occurrences, how many times that pattern is available, how many times the that particular character is available, that will be identified and it will be stored and indexed. Okay, and in this manner, on the receiver's end, the same file will be decompressed, uncompressed very easily because of this lossless compression. Give 2 reasons why the next file may have been compressed. Okay, now can we find out the 2 reasons? Why do we compress the file? Is exactly one of the yes, exactly. It is going to help in reducing the size of the file, that it occupies less storage space. It can be transferred easily over the internet. That's wonderful, Ahmad. And what else? It consumes lesser bandwidth. That's great. It's easier to upload and download the file also on the internet if it has undergone this lossless compression. That's wonderful. That's great. Let's see. To save the storage space, now be very clear. The word storage is very important. If you say storage, to save space, that will not be considered as a very correct option, as a very correct answer. So need to mention the use of the storage keyword to make it quicker to transmit, to make it small enough to attach to an email, to reduce the bandwidth needed to transmit. Like the student can write in his own words, which means something similar, like the way you have said that it can be transmitted easily over the internet. Like you said that it can be like uploaded and downloaded easily. That's perfectly okay, fine. So don't get worried. This is a correct answer. A student uses a mobile phone, question number 4. A student uses a mobile phone to take photographs for a school project. The student needs to transmit the photographs to their computer. They could use serial data transmission or parallel data transmission to transmit the photographs. See, they can use either. Describe how the photographs would be transmitted using serial transmission. It's a 2-mark question, and you can see, so simple. Data is sent 1 bit at a time over a single wire. Now you need to see, it's a 2-mark question, mean that 1 mark is going to be for 1 bit at a time transmission, 1 bit at a time over a single wire will be the second point. So if a student just wrote data is sent 1 bit at a time, he will score 1 out of 2 only. So be cautious. In order to score 2 out of 2, you need to mention data is sent 1 bit at a time over a single wire. Okay? Give 2 benefits of transmitting the photographs using serial transmission. I can be quickly recall. What are the benefits? Exactly. It's cost effective because it is consuming only 1 wire. Definitely that is cost effective. Besides this, no skewing of data, less chance of interference or cross-talking or corruption of the error, and transmission speed is adequate and less costly. See, this is what we have talked about. And we have been doing so, less likely to be skewed. The data will always be reaching in the right order. There's less chance of data getting like being corrupted or getting some errors or for cross-talking or for interference. So this is a very good big advantage of your serial transmission. State 1 minute. Now you have talked about serial. Now what about state 1 benefit of the student using parallel transmission instead of serial transmission? Now on the contrary, you have to see there must be some benefits of parallel transmission also. So what is the benefit? Okay, wonderful. That's the fast transmission. That's okay. By the way, just asking, where is parallel transmission being used? In which scenarios do we prefer parallel transmission? Okay, that's wonderful. Inside the computer components, as you can see, when the internal components of the computer, they are using parallel transmission because they need to transmit the data very quickly. That is wonderful, great. The photographs can also be are also transmitted across a network to cloud storage. A device on the network forwards the data packet, forwards the data towards its correct destination. State the name of this device. Now, I want to transmit the data across, I want to transfer these photographs to cloud storage. So which device on the network is forwarding the data towards correct destination? Now just see the two important words, forwarding the data and the correct destination. So these are the two keywords. If you pay attention to these two keywords, which strikes your mind? Which thing strikes your mind? Forwarding the data and correct destination. Which is it? The name of the device is? Okay. The name of the device is a router. That's right. Wonderful. Let's see. Router, exactly. Describe what is meant by cloud storage. Now, what is meant? What do we mean by the term cloud storage? First thing is, what is it actually? It's a collection of remote servers. Exactly. It's a collection of servers that are present at a remote location, and they're allowing the data to be accessed remotely, and they need an internet connection to access the data. Like if internet connection is missing, if an internet connection is not there, then you cannot access the data at all. So this is what, since it's a 2-mark question, so you have to write down 2 valid points, and in this manner you can score 2 out of 2. Okay, 1 mark for identifying the right device for forwarding the data packets towards the correct destination. 2 marks are for writing down the proper description or meaning of what cloud storage is. And down the third part. Give one disadvantage of storing the photographs in cloud storage instead of storing them locally. Let me quickly recall. One disadvantage of storing the photographs in cloud storage. Okay, that's great. Wonderful. Definitely one very quick advantage, the disadvantage that comes to our mind is we need internet. And if internet is not there, or if internet is slow, then we cannot access it. Then there is definitely a little risk of data being hacked. Exactly. And you need a third party to keep the data. You have to rely on a third party to maintain everything. And it could lead you to incur an extra cost also. By the way, we are using cloud, but we are using a limited cloud storage, isn't it? Talking about the companies, they need to store a lot of data on cloud, so definitely they have to pay a lot of money in order to buy extra storage capacities for them. That can result in a greater cost. I'm not saying it is disadvantageous as such. In the long run, definitely you can access it from everywhere, but still there is a chance of security problems because anyone can hack into the system. See, it's available everywhere. Anyone can access. Whoever knows how to hack into the system can definitely hack it. That's correct. That's great. Now, any questions? Question number 4. A programmer writes a computer program using a high-level language. Tick one box to show which statement is correct about writing a program in a computer program in a high-level language. Mnemonics are used to create instructions. So you can see mnemonics, it's completely, okay, now that's great. That you can see this is completely wrong for the reason that mnemonics are definitely not used in high-level language. So that is why high-level language means mnemonics are not there. So that is why this is not the right answer. Computer program is harder to debug than a low-level language. Now, it's difficult. It's actually, again, a wrong thing. It's easier. The computer program is machine independent. The hardware of the computer can be directly manipulated. Now, the hardware of the computer is directly manipulated is again a wrong option. That's why the only right option is this one, which is ticked here. The computer program is machine independent. It is independent of the machine. So I hope that this is very clear. You have highlighted it properly, you have understood properly, and you have written the, you have chosen the correct option here. Isn't it? Easy? Okay. The programmer uses a compiler to translate the computer program. Describe how the compiler translates the computer program. How does it do it? I can see it translates the high-level language to low-level language, or object code, or machine code. And this is what we know very well. How is it doing it? It translates all the code before it is executed. And remember, it creates an exe file, executable file. So this is what is going to be the right answer to score 3 out of 3. If you have mentioned everything properly, like describe how the compiler is going to translate the computer program. Describe how the compiler reports the errors. Now, how does it do it? Now, it creates an error report after trying to compile, displaying all the errors in the code, and definitely those errors need to be corrected before the execution can take place. This is what we remember. The compiler is always asking you to make the corrections. The compiled program should not contain any single error, otherwise the program will never execute. So if you want your file to execute, if you want your program to execute, written in high-level language and compiled, then it should be free of all the errors. The programmer uses an integrated development environment to create the computer program. One function of the IDE is that it has the built-in compiler. Give 3 other common functions of an IDE. Now, IDE, integrated development environment, they're only asking you to write down the names of the IDE features, that's all. So simply code editors, runtime environment, built-in interpreter, because built-in compiler is mentioned. So you can mention built-in interpreter. A student may have written this answer. Error diagnostics, auto-completion, auto-correction, pretty printing. So if a student has chosen any 3 out of the list, then he will be able to score 3 out of 3. Isn't it easy? Okay. Complete the statements about cookies. Now, this is really interesting. Use the terms from the list. Some of the terms in the list will not be used. Some terms will be used more than once. Now, they have told you that maybe some terms will not be used at all, and some terms may be used more than once. So they have given you the hint. I hope that will make the work a little simpler, a little easier. Cookies are small dash files. Yes, exactly. Cookies are small text files that are sent between a web browser and a web server. Or in the student could have written our text files between our text file that are sent between a web server and a web browser. That's perfectly okay. They could have interchanged the two. That's perfectly okay. Dash cookies are stored in memory and not in the user's secondary storage. So which cookies are stored in memory? Now remember, cookies are either persistent or session. So exactly, session cookies are temporary, so they are stored in the memory. But as soon as the computer is switched off, the session cookies are gone. When the web browser is closed, a dash cookie is lost. Definitely a session cookie is lost, whereas a persistent cookie is not lost. This is what we talked about. As the name implies, persistent means it remains. It is not deleted. Its contents are there because it's persistent. Fine. The contents are still there. Give 3 functions of a cookie. So what can you write? Saving personal, but a cookie is dangerous. No, not at all. Exactly. They are there just to track the user preferences. They are there just to store the user preferences. So you can see they are there to save the personal details. They are there to store the login details. They are there to track the user preferences, and they hold items in an online shopping cart. So that is why you may have seen that whenever you are performing online shopping, then the shopping cart contains the data, contains all the details of the shopping items that you have placed, and they remain. And they are not harmful at all. Remember exactly that. Remember that cookies are not at all harmful as viruses are, but they we need to be a bit cautious. Maybe they can keep a track of whatever I'm visiting. So that is why we have to be a bit cautious. Okay, okay, Ali, it's up to you that whether you want the cookies to be activated or you don't want to. The decision is entirely yours, but beware that actually cookies are not at all dangerous like the viruses are. This is what we should be very clear about. Any questions till now? Okay, now we are on question number 7. A distributed denial of service attack, DDoS, is a cybersecurity threat. Draw and annotate a diagram to represent the process of a DDoS. By the way, just recall, what is DDoS? Distributed denial of service attack. So what happens in DDoS? Okay, exactly. A lot of requests are sent and they're going to bombard your servers, and in this manner, maybe the legitimate request will not be processed because a lot of requests are coming from many terminals. That exactly. So this is what you need to remember. By the way, just for the purpose of making you comprehend, the markings are given to you or shared with you. So you can see how will you score. It's a 6-mark question. The diagram should demonstrate the malware downloaded to several computers, turning it into a bot or a zombie, and that creates a network of bots or zombies. A third party or hacker initiates the attack, and bots send requests to a web server at the same time, and the web server fails due to the requests. Legitimate requests cannot reach the web server. As you can see, actually, the legitimate user is not able to access because a lot of requests are bombarding this web server. So now you can see this is my computer, and these are so many bots that have been activated. And all these bots, what are they doing? They are initiated by the third party, and these bots are going to send the request. They're going to bombard the web server with a lot of requests. And in this manner, me as a legitimate user, my computer being a legitimate user, is denied at all the service from the web servers. So you need to draw like, okay, now I know, yes, exactly that. Even if what they want you to do is just draw boxes, write down the keywords, and what you need to do is just write down the main processes. When you don't have to write a lot of things, you don't need to actually go for the color coding or anything like that. What you need to do is just mention the main thing that is happening there, and inshallah you will be able to score. Exactly, that's one of the questions, and any other question can come in the paper. Exactly. But what you need to know is just the whole process. And remember, nowadays we are getting one question from this, drawing the diagram about any of the processes, any of the tasks. And then for that, you need to know the whole process. You need to draw the diagram, and inshallah, you will be able to score it. Okay? State 2 aims of carrying out a DDoS. Why do people carry it out? See, revenge, affect a company's reputation, just for entertainment, to demand a ransom to stop it, or to test a system's resilience. Maybe that is also initiated to see that how resilient is the system. Okay, so that is why the DDoS attack is initiated. Revenge, exactly. Maybe the one company is doing wonderful, one web server. So the web server is attacked by DDoS, so that they can take the revenge from that company. Maybe they just because they want to destroy the company's reputation. So this can be the reason for that. Give 2 security solutions that can be used to help prevent a DDoS attack being successful. What can we do? Proxy server, firewall, users scanning their computers with anti-malware. So these are the solutions. What the people can do. They have a proxy server, they have firewall. If the users are scanning the computers with anti-malware, then definitely that will prevent the DDoS attack. Okay, it's a 2-mark question. A computer is connected to a network and assigned an IPv4 address, IPv4. Tick one box to show which device would assign the IPv4 address to the computer. Domain name server, DNS, NIC, no, not at all. Router or web server. By the way, is a web server assigning the IP address? Okay, it's the router, exactly. The router which is disconnecting all your home devices, maybe the one that I'm using at home. So the moment I turn on my router, so the job of the router is to assign the IP address. So that is done by the router, fine. Describe the characteristics of an IPv4 address. What are they? And it's a 4-mark question. So I hope that we know IPv4. We have studied it. We have been doing the practice. So you can recall, the first thing, it's a denary-based system. And if it's denary-based, means the minimum value is a 0 and maximum is 255. And definitely total will be 256. And that is what you can see the values in your IPv4 address. Maximum is 256. It's of 32 bits. It is 4 sets or groups of numbers which are separated by dots. So this is what we have been doing. We know that it's the 32-bit address. We know that it's a denary based number normally. We know it's basically 4 values which are separated by dots. And like this is what we do. Next, it's a unique address. It's a unique value. And that can be a static value. It can be static IP or that it can be dynamic IP. It can be public IP or it can be private IP. So it contains the network prefix and the host number. By the way, this is just mentioned so that maybe, see, okay, what is it actually? Fine. Actually, IP address is composed of 2 parts. First one is the network ID, and second one is the host ID. So maybe, like inshallah, you will study it in detail later. But just to tell you that just by looking at the first value, the first, you can say, first of my value in IP address, I determine that what is which class does it belong to. So a student may talk about the class is also class ABC also. But just remember, what you need to know is the basic thing. Fine. So don't get overwhelmed at all. Network ID and host ID is basically a part of the IP address. And looking at the IP address, we determine that which class does it belong to. Fine. So this is what you need to know. Simple thing. No worries, nothing to worry about. Okay. Question number 9. Exactly. You need to just be very cautious about the main things. And if you really want, you can just restrict yourselves right now, Ali, to the concept of the network ID and the host ID. That's all. That IP address is composed of host ID and a network ID. That's all. For you people, this is enough. Okay. Yes, we have touched it a little bit in our classes. I may have used the word, so that is why this is a little. This sounds a little familiar to you. The term network ID and host ID may have may seem a little familiar to you because I have used it in the classes. Okay. Now, question number 9. One component of an expert system is the inference engine. Identify the 3 other components in an expert system. So you know one is inference. So what is left? Knowledge base, rule base, and interface, which is the user interface. So you mentioned the rest of the 3, and you pay attention that inference engine is already mentioned. Now be very, very cautious. Inference engine is mentioned, means you will not mention it in the answer. Okay. Now, describe the role of inference engine in the expert system. That's a 2-mark question. What does it do, inference engine? What is the job? If you remember, we have been talking about it's derived from the word to infer. It means it is making the decisions. And how does it perform this activity? By applying the rules or logic to the facts or to the knowledge. And it is going to provide a result, or it is going to give you a diagnostics. It is going to give you a diagnosis of the result. So this is what the inference engine is doing. It is there to make the decisions, and those decisions are based on all the rules that are present in the knowledge base, and then it is able to give you a result. Question number 2. It's a 2-mark question. Okay, sorry. Question number 10. A user has both system software and application software installed on their computer. Describe the difference between system software and application software. See, it's so simple. A 4-mark question, but you need to see what they want you to answer. See, system software is providing the services that the computer requires. Now, please be very cautious about the keywords. The system software is providing the services that the computer requires. On the contrary, application software provides the services that are needed by the user. The user is requiring those services. It's not the computer, it's for the user. The user is requiring it. System software can talk about the utility program as an example. Like you can say, because utility program is actually one of the examples of, or like you can say system software is divided into three main components: operating system, utility software, and device drivers. So a student can explain it in this manner, that utility software, for example, defragmentation software, antivirus, firewall, these all are your utility programs. Disk cleanup, disk defragmentation, you can say disk formatting. So these all are utility programs. And one from the application software, a suitable, you can write down an example like word processor. Again, be cautious. You cannot say MS Word. You are not allowed to use the brand name. So if a student says MS Word, fine. Will he be given any mark? What do you think? If anyone says Excel, will he be given any mark? Yes, Ali. That is a wrong thing. So remember, word processors is okay, spreadsheet is okay, web browser is okay, video editing software is okay. These all are examples of application software. So a student can frame an answer like this: assistant software is providing the services that the computer requires, while application software is providing the services that the user requires, because they have asked you, give an example of each software in your answer. So I've given you the hint also. They want you to tell the example. So example will be, do not say Windows, that's completely wrong. You do not say DOS, do not say Linux, do not say Unix, do not say Android. They all are wrong examples. If you write down DOS, that's wrong. You write down Windows, that's wrong, because these are the brand names. Similarly, for example, for application software, you can say word processors, spreadsheet, presentation software, web browser, video editing, photo editing. They all are correct answers for application software, but do not at all write down the names of the brands. Okay? Are we all clear about it? So here, with this question, we are able to understand that this is how we can score, or we can easily lose the marks also. Okay. State which component in the computer would store both types of software when the power is turned off. Now, power is turned off. Definitely all the contents of RAM are lost. But your hard drive or your SSD, or anyone, if he writes secondary storage, he will be definitely able to score 1 mark, because that was only needing you to state which component in the computer would store. They were talking about the storage. So definitely for storage of the data permanently, whether it's software, like the operating system or any of the program that we work on, or even our programs, they are stored permanently in secondary storage, or I can say hard drive, or I can say SSD. So this is how I'm able to score, I'm able to answer and score also. Isn't it easy? Jazakallah khairan kasira for being a part of the learning journey. If you have liked my videos, please subscribe the channel, share with your friends and family, so they all are going to benefit from it, and keep watching the videos, keep liking the videos, and do not forget to click on the bell icon so that you are getting the latest updates as soon as any new video is uploaded. And do not forget to comment exactly, so that I will be able to know which other videos do you want me to make for you. Okay. Okay, Allah Hafiz once again. Take very good care of yourselves. Keep on learning, and happy learning.